Hello, and welcome to Podcast for English. My name is Linda. I'm really happy you're here today. This channel is for people who want to learn English in a simple and natural way. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to speak fast. You don't need to understand every word. You only need to listen. You can listen while you rest. You can listen while you work. You can listen while you live your daily life. Take a deep breath, relax your body, clear your mind. Now, let's begin today's English lesson together. The topic of today's podcast episode is You are not bad at English. You just learned it the wrong way. You are not bad at English. Many people believe this about themselves. They say, I'm bad at English. I can't learn languages. I tried before and failed. These thoughts feel real, but they are not the truth. They are stories built from past experiences. Many people learned English in a stressful way. They learned with pressure. They learned with fear. They learned with tests. This makes English feel heavy. When learning feels heavy, the mind closes. When the mind closes, learning stops. This is not your fault. You were not taught in a way that felt natural. You were taught to be correct, not to understand. You were taught to remember rules, not to listen. This is why English felt hard, not because you are weak, not because you are slow, but because the method did not fit you. Language is not learned by force. It is learned by exposure, by hearing, by repeating, by time. Children do not learn language by studying grammar. They listen, they copy, they try again. Adults can learn the same way, but many adults were never given this chance, so they blame themselves. This blame is painful. It creates fear. It creates shame, and fear blocks learning. English becomes easier when fear is removed, when pressure is reduced. When learning feels safe, you are not bad at English. You just learned it in a way that did not help you. And this means something important. It means you can learn again. In a better way, in a calmer way, in a way that fits you. Nothing is wrong with you. You are capable of learning. You always were. The way you learn English can change how you feel about it. A wrong method often creates fear, not right away, slowly. Many people learned English in a classroom full of pressure. They were told, don't make mistakes. Speak correctly. Remember the rules. This makes English feel dangerous. When you are afraid to be wrong, you stop trying. You become quiet. You stay silent. Silence feels safe, but silence stops learning. The wrong method focuses on mistakes. Every error feels big. Every wrong answer feels painful. You begin to feel watched. You feel judged. This fear stays even when the class is over. Later, when you hear English, your body reacts. Your heart beats faster. Your mind feels tense. You think, I will fail again. This reaction is not about English. It is about memory. Your brain remembers stress. Your brain remembers shame, so it tries to protect you by avoiding English. This is why many people turn away from listening. They say, I don't understand. It's too hard. But the real problem is not difficulty. It is fear. The wrong method also breaks learning into small tests. Right or wrong, pass or fail. But language is not a test. Language is a process. When learning feels like a test, you focus on results. Not understanding, you rush, you panic, you forget. Fear blocks listening. Fear blocks memory. Fear blocks progress. This is not your weakness. This is how the brain works. When fear is present, learning becomes very hard. English becomes easier when fear is removed. When you feel safe, your mind opens. You listen longer. You stay calmer. You understand more. This is why method matters. A calm method creates space. A safe method creates growth. And when fear goes away, learning can begin again. Listening first works better than studying rules. This may feel strange to many people because most people learned English by studying grammar first. They learned rules. They learned formulas. They learned how sentences should look. But language does not start with rules. Language starts with sound. When children learn a language, they listen first. They listen for a long time. They do not study grammar. They do not ask about rules. They listen. They copy. They try again. This is how the brain learns language naturally. Adults can learn the same way, but many adults were told to do the opposite. They were told to study rules first. This creates a problem. Rules without sound are empty. You may know a rule, but you cannot hear it. You may remember grammar, but you cannot use it. This is frustrating. Listening first builds a strong base. You hear how words sound. You hear how sentences flow. You hear rhythm and stress. Your brain begins to recognize patterns, not by thinking, by feeling. This is important because language is not logic only. It is habit. Listening creates habit. You hear the same phrase many times. Each time it feels more familiar. You do not need to understand every word. Understanding the main idea is enough. Over time, details appear. Your brain fills the gaps. Listening also reduces pressure. You are not forced to speak. You are not tested. You are just listening. This feels safe. When learning feels safe, the brain stays open. You stay longer. You listen more. More listening creates more understanding. Grammar becomes easier after listening because rules start to make sense. You hear the rule in real life. You recognize it. Instead of memorizing, you remember naturally. Listening first changes how learning feels. It feels lighter. It feels calmer. You are not fighting English. You are letting it enter slowly. This is why listening works. Not because it is easy, but because it follows how the brain learns best. And when learning feels natural, progress becomes possible. Pressure slows learning down. Comparison slows learning down. Many people do not realize this. They think pressure will push them to improve. They think comparison will motivate them. But the opposite often happens. When you feel pressure, your body becomes tense. Your mind becomes tight. You listen, but you do not relax. When the mind is tight, learning becomes hard. Pressure often comes from expectations. You expect yourself to understand everything. You expect yourself to speak correctly. You expect fast progress. These expectations create stress. Stress blocks listening. Stress blocks memory. Instead of learning, you start worrying. You think, why am I not better? Why is this so hard? These thoughts do not help. They slow you down. Comparison creates another kind of pressure. You compare yourself to others. You hear someone speak well and you feel small. You see fast learners and you feel behind. But comparison is unfair. You do not see their full story. You do not see how long they practiced. You do not see their struggles. You only see the result. This makes you judge yourself too harshly. You forget something important. Everyone learns at a different pace. Everyone has a different path. When you compare, you lose focus. You stop listening to English. You start listening to negative thoughts. This is dangerous because learning needs attention. Attention needs calm. English becomes easier when pressure is reduced. When comparison stops, you learn better when you feel safe. You learn better when you focus on your own path. Instead of asking, how fast am I? Ask, am I continuing? Continuing is enough. Small progress is real progress. Listening calmly is more powerful than studying with fear. When pressure goes down, understanding goes up. When comparison stops, confidence grows. English does not ask you to be better than others. It asks you to keep going. And when you learn without pressure, your progress becomes steady, slow, but strong. You can relearn English in a calmer way, a way without fear, a way without pressure. The first step is to slow down. You do not need to rush. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to stay. Listening is the best place to start again. You listen not to study, but to feel the language. You listen to simple English. You listen to familiar topics. This makes learning feel safe. When learning feels safe, the mind opens. You stay longer. You feel calmer. This is important because calm creates space, and space allows learning. Another step is to accept not knowing. You do not fight confusion. You do not panic when you miss a word. You let it pass. You keep listening. This trains your mind to relax. Relaxed minds learn better. You also relearn English by choosing kindness. Kindness to yourself. You stop saying, I'm bad at this. You start saying, I'm learning. This small change matters because words shape feeling, and feeling shapes learning. Relearning English also means changing habits. You stop studying only in stressful moments. You start listening during calm moments. While walking, while resting, while doing simple things. English becomes part of life, not a problem to solve. You also relearn English by repeating. You listen again and again. Repetition is not failure. Repetition is learning. Each time you listen, your mind recognizes more, without effort, without force. This is how children learn, and adults can learn the same way. Relearning English takes patience. You may feel slow, but slow is okay. Slow learning lasts longer. When you relearn English in a calm way, progress feels gentle, not stressful, not painful, and gentle progress is real progress. This is how English becomes friendly again. Not something to fear, something to return to. Mistakes are a natural part of learning English. They are not a problem. They are a sign that you are trying. Many people fear mistakes. They think, if I make a mistake, it means I am bad. But this idea is wrong. No one learns without mistakes. Children make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. Even fluent speakers make mistakes. Mistakes are normal. When you learn English, your brain is testing ideas. It tries a word. It tries a sentence. It checks the result. This is learning. If you never make mistakes, you are not trying enough. The problem is not mistakes. The problem is fear. Fear makes mistakes feel heavy. Fear makes you stop. But when fear is removed, mistakes lose power. They become information. They show you what your brain is working on. They show you what needs more time. Mistakes also help memory. When you notice a mistake, your brain pays attention. It remembers better. This is why mistakes can help learning. English becomes easier when you allow mistakes. You stop hiding. You stop staying silent. You continue. You listen again. You try again. Each mistake moves you forward, slowly. English also teaches you to be patient with mistakes. You learn that you do not need to fix everything right away. You let the language grow. Over time, mistakes become fewer. Not because you forced them away, but because understanding grew. Mistakes disappear when learning feels safe, not when learning feels strict. English is not a test. It is a skill. Skills grow with practice. Practice includes mistakes. When you accept mistakes, you remove pressure. When pressure is gone, confidence grows. And when confidence grows, learning becomes easier. Mistakes are not the enemy. Fear is. When you let go of fear, mistakes become part of the journey, and the journey continues. Consistency matters more than talent. Many people believe they cannot learn English because they are not talented. They think, I don't have a language talent. I'm not good at this. But talent is not the key. Consistency is. Talent can help you start. Consistency helps you continue. And continuing is what creates progress. Learning English is not about doing a lot one day. It is about doing a little many days. You listen today, you listen tomorrow, you listen again next week. These small actions build something strong. Consistency trains your brain. When you listen regularly, your brain expects English. It becomes familiar. It becomes normal. This makes learning easier. You do not need long study sessions. You do not need perfect focus. You only need to show up 5 minutes, 10 minutes. This is enough. Consistency also reduces fear. When you meet English often, it stops feeling strange. It stops feeling heavy. You do not panic when you hear it. You stay calm. Calm listening creates understanding. Many people wait to feel motivated. They wait to feel ready. But motivation comes and goes. Consistency stays. You listen even on days you feel tired. You listen even when progress feels slow. This builds discipline. Not strict discipline, gentle discipline, a habit. And habits change lives. Consistency also builds trust. You begin to trust yourself. You see that you can keep a promise to yourself. This trust is very important because learning is a long journey. Talent may help at the start, but consistency takes you far. English does not ask for special ability. It asks for regular attention, a little, again and again. When you choose consistency, English slowly becomes part of who you are. And that is real progress. Small daily habits can rebuild confidence. Not quickly, not loudly, slowly. Many people think confidence must come first. They think, when I feel confident, I will learn. But confidence comes after action. It grows from small habits, simple habits, daily habits. You listen a little each day. You do not push. You do not force. You just show up. This small action sends a message to your mind. I am trying. I am staying. This message builds trust, and trust builds confidence. Small habits remove pressure. You are not trying to be perfect. You are not trying to do everything. You are just listening for a short time. This feels safe. When something feels safe, you continue. And when you continue, confidence grows. Daily habits also create familiarity. You hear the same sounds, you hear the same words. Each day they feel less strange, less heavy. You begin to feel more comfortable. Comfort is the base of confidence. Small habits also give you proof. Proof that you can continue. Proof that you can keep going. You see yourself listening again and again. This changes how you see yourself. You stop thinking, I always quit. You start thinking, I can stay. This change is very powerful because confidence is not about ability. It is about belief, and belief is built from experience. Daily habits create that experience. They show you that learning is possible, not because you are strong, but because you are consistent. Over time, these habits become normal. Listening feels natural. English feels familiar. You feel less afraid to hear it. You feel less afraid to try. Confidence grows without effort, not because you chase it, but because you allow it to grow. This is how small daily habits rebuild confidence. Quietly, gently, naturally. Changing your mindset changes everything. Not just English, everything. Many people believe learning English is about ability. They think, I'm smart enough or I'm not. I have talent or I don't. This mindset creates limits. But learning English is not about talent. It is about approach. When you change how you think about learning, everything feels different. You stop seeing English as a test. You stop seeing English as something to pass or fail. You start seeing English as a process you return to. This change removes fear. When there is no test, there is less pressure. When there is less pressure, the mind opens. A new mindset focuses on progress, not perfection. You stop asking, am I good enough? You start asking, am I continuing? This simple question changes your direction. You also stop judging every small mistake. You stop labeling yourself. You stop saying, I'm bad at English. You start saying, I'm learning English. This language matters because the words you use shape how you feel, and how you feel shapes how you act. A new mindset also accepts slow progress. You stop rushing. You stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. You understand that everyone starts somewhere. This understanding creates patience, and patience creates consistency. Changing your mindset also changes your relationship with difficulty. Before, difficulty meant stop. Now, difficulty means learn. You stay longer, you listen again, you do not run away. This is growth. English becomes less of a problem and more of a practice, something you do without fear, without pressure, with curiosity. When curiosity leads, learning feels lighter. You want to listen, you want to understand. This motivation comes from inside, not from force. A changed mindset gives you freedom. Freedom to learn at your pace. Freedom to make mistakes. Freedom to continue. And when your mindset changes, English stops controlling you. You begin to control how you learn. This is where real change happens. Learning English the right way brings everything together. All the small pieces, all the small steps. When you learn the right way, English no longer feels heavy. It no longer feels scary. It feels possible. The right way starts with calm. You listen without pressure. You listen without fear. You allow yourself to not understand everything. This creates space, and space allows learning. The right way also focuses on habit. You listen a little each day. You return again and again. Not because you are forced, but because it feels natural. This habit keeps you moving forward. The right way respects time. You stop rushing. You stop demanding fast results. You understand that real change takes time. This understanding brings peace. The right way also changes how you treat yourself. You stop being harsh. You stop blaming yourself. You speak to yourself with kindness. This kindness creates safety. And safety is where learning grows. When you learn the right way, mistakes lose power. They are no longer proof that you are bad. They become signs that you are learning. This removes fear, and without fear, you stay. The right way also brings confidence together. Not confidence from perfection, confidence from consistency. You trust yourself because you show up. You believe in yourself because you continue. Everything connects here. Calm, habit, patience, kindness, consistency. They work together. They support each other. And English becomes part of your life. Not a problem, not a test. A skill you grow with. Learning the right way does not change you overnight, but it changes your direction. It shows you that learning is possible, that progress is real, that you were never bad at English. You were only taught the wrong way, and now you know a better way, a way that fits you, a way that lasts. You've reached the end of today's episode. Before you leave, I want you to remember one simple thing. You did something good for yourself today. You listened. You stayed. You didn't give up. And that matters. Learning English is not about being fast. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing up again and again. Some days will feel easy. Some days will feel hard. Both are normal. Progress does not always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels quiet. Sometimes you don't notice it at all. But learning is still happening. Every minute you listen, your ears are learning new sounds. Your mind is learning new patterns. Your confidence is growing, even if you cannot see it yet. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to compare yourself to others. You are on your own path, and your pace is enough. Let English be part of your daily life. Listen while you rest. Listen while you work. Listen while you live your normal day. If this episode helped you feel calmer, more focused, or more motivated, then your time here was well spent. Come back when you can. Come back when you need a quiet space to learn. My name is Linda, and this is Podcast for English. Thank you for learning with me. Until next time, keep going and never give up. Believe in yourself, because you are stronger than you think.